Animation, forget about it. Like,
I mean, 'cause it's more expensive to shoot animation than it is to shoot.
Oh, it's incredibly expensive.
So that'll cut the cost down there. But then what about actors?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's where I think it starts to get a bit scary. Like, I mean, there's all these other different apps called like Descript and all these other things where basically it can reanimate your eyes. This is something Lucas did with the little boy in one of the, the reboot of the Star Wars franchise a decade ago. The little boy, he wanted to kind of move where the boy's eye line was, and they had to digitally replace that afterwards. Now there's consumer apps you can do there where you can be looking at your script, but the thing will reanimate your eyes so it looks like you're looking right at the camera.
It's great for self-tapes.
Which I've got to do one later today. Yeah. No, that's phenomenal. But think about that. Like all those animators, all of those CGI technicians. Mm-hmm. The question now, and I mean, I think the union was on strike in no small part because of these issues. And now something like Sora, the Chat GPT, thing hits in it.
So you can imagine A-listers in the future might not be humans. You could create this AI generated actor who's in all these movies. But I think one thing it does do though, AI is still technology and it doesn't have a soul.
No, it doesn't. And I think you can feel it. Like, I mean, don't you even feel it sometimes with a lot of these CG films?
Yeah. I mean, back in the day with the whole kind of green screen stuff, that just didn't feel real. And the acts, I remember Ewan McGregor when he was doing the Star Wars and playing Obi-Wan Kenobi, he was like
talking to a tennis ball.
Yeah, exactly. It was horrible. And, I mean, I think, but that's where your imagination comes in and it works differently for different people. But I mean, I think you can't put the soul of God into, a generated character. Mm-hmm. So how can it replicate true emotion well? Like, you see an art, a painting by Van Gogh or by Da Vinci. Mm-hmm. You'll be moved by it because you see the detail and the craftsmanship that's gone into it. But if it's AI generated and somebody says, generate me a picture like the Mona Lisa,
which it can do,
but does it have soul to it?
Yeah. And I think this is where you bring up a really important question and topic. There's no doubt technology is already doing it with music. There's pop artists that actually use melody generators, and there's software that'll do it because it's been fed every hit pop song and will tell you that if you do this melodically and you do this kind of leap, you can sound like this person, that person. It's all math. Mm-hmm. Music is math. And so we've been seeing this in music for a long, long time. You just have to listen to pop for 5 seconds to see that the human voice right now is being corrected. If you go back and you listen to the music from the 60s, the 70s, and the 80s, which I was doing some work in my backyard and I was listening to this stuff there's pitch problems all over the place, all over the place. But it sounds real. It sounds like a human being that is not robotic. If you listen to like hyper pop now, what's interesting is I've been thinking a lot about this in terms of food. And I think you and I were talking about this a little bit over the weekend when we were kind of taking this announcement in because we were just in Atlanta. And I think we were talking about like the changes that were coming to Atlanta. And this, for me, this at least put a little bit of a question mark there for one.
Well, definitely for, for the studios we were
for our friends and,
exactly.
And, that are there. But I was thinking about food and I was thinking about how machines, farming, food creation and processing has changed over just the last 50 to 60 years, right? Mm-hmm. Sure, it's convenient to have canned things and microwavable things.
Yeah.
But I think we're now paying the price for that in terms of nutrition.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
We have food that fills us, but they're empty.
No nutritional value.
And there's no nutritional value. Mm-hmm. But it's been engineered to push all the buttons of the human brain. The fat content, the sugar content, the taste palette thing. And so we keep eating it. Almost like horses at the trough that will just, if you feed a horse, they'll eat till they explode. Mm-hmm. So here's the question. Are there a group of people on the planet that have both the luxury and the awareness, because it is a luxury to some extent to be able to choose your food, to have food? Mm-hmm. There's a group of people on the planet that are pushing back and saying, I want to eat better, healthier food. You see this in Europe and, no high fructose corn syrup and this thing and that thing and folate and folic acid, all these things that we put on our food, pesticides, organic. So there's a pushback on that.
Mm-hmm.
It makes me wonder if we'll see the same pendulum swing.
I think it's inevitable, isn't it?
You think? Yeah.
Oh, I do. Because I think that people still want authenticity.